Thanks so much for
nice
being
to
here.
Meet you guys again.
So big night of fighting here Saturday night. We got among fights on the card. We got Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz Jr. It's a heavyweight bout. What does it mean to you to have boxing return to MSG?
Well, listen, to me, New York City, New York is a mecca of sports. I'm a big Ranger fan. I'm a big Knick fan, and I love the fights. I've been a fighter here. I fought here my first fight in the main garden at 16 in front of 21,000 people, which was a pretty frightening moment for me. And I was successful, and I won the middleweight championship.
Who's this skinny guy here?
Break it down, Gerry.
I had to lose 8 pounds the night before the fight.
How did you do that?
I got a sweatsuit, and I just sweated out, didn't drink anything.
I mean, legs for days.
And then back in those days, we used to go to like Tad's Steakhouse, which is the worst thing in the world for you, in the world, because that's we could afford.
Look
at me.
What's your weight there?
165 pounds, probably.
160.
And are you 6'6"?
No, I was 6'4".
This is the Golden Gloves, right?
That they
had in the garden.
The gloves, yeah.
And 16 years old, 160 pounds.
I wasn't a great fighter, but I could punch. If
Oh,
I
you
hit
could-
you,
well,
you're
you
going to
could-
go down. You see, you went down a couple of times.
You can see that pretty clearly when you made contact.
Yeah.
It hurt whoever your opponent was there.
So that's what we got when we come to New York. We have a great fan base here. Everybody loves. Look, I come to the Garden. The ticket holders, the ushers, they all remember from when I was fighting back in the day. It's like I feel like I'm coming home every time I'm at the Garden, and that's how I'm treated, and that's how I treat those people, like they're friends. I hug them with, it's like I know them, and to come and sit and see a guy like Anthony Joshua fighting Andrew Ruiz, who, listen, Andrew Ruiz is not giving him much hope to look well, but I think he's going to test Joshua for a bunch of rounds. I think he may get stopped later on in the fight, but he's a talented guy. He's got a lot of guts. He's not got the Hulk body, but that's not his body structure. He's soft, but he can fight. That kid can fight, and Joshua's going to find that out.
There also is something about when the heavyweight division does have its personalities, has guys that really do attract the viewers. I don't think we've had that for a couple of years. It's been a lot of the other divisions. It's maybe more. Okay. Yeah, but you can tell, right? Like the glory days, heavyweight division was huge. They were celebrities. You were one of the celebrities, obviously, and it's something that attracts it to the sport. To have some of the, having a guy like Joshua, having a Tyson Fury, having them with their personalities emerge now. How important is it for the sport?
We just have to have them fight. And, they used to say that in boxing, if the heavyweight division was dead, boxing was dead. Mm-hmm. But that's not true anymore. You got great light heavyweights, cruiserweights, welterweights. I can't wait to see Errol Spence fight Terrence Crawford. I mean, the light heavyweight division is filled with 8 to 10 great fighters, but the heavyweight division is coming back. It's strong. We got Joshua, Fury, Wilder. The only thing is we're going to see him fight. Because, Joshua's with DAZN, Fury's with ESPN, and Wilder's with HBO. No, with Showtime, and Fox. And so that's the problem that we're facing. And the fans are not getting what they deserve. And we put up with a lot. But I'm not just a former fighter, but I'm a fan. And I want to see these fights. And I believe they're going to happen, just not as soon as we want, unfortunately.
Didn't that happen with you also? Wasn't it also where you had to wait for a fight?
Well, I mean, when I knocked out Kenny Norton in the Garden,
54 seconds.
I don't like to brag.
Was that your highlight? Was that your career highlight?
No, that was losing to Holmes in 13 rounds was a great highlight because I hadn't fought in 13 years. They wouldn't give me anybody. Don King owned all the guys,
right?
And because I wouldn't sign with them, I was fighting once a year when I was 22, 23, 24 years old, when I should have been fighting 3 or 4 times a year. And so when I fought Holmes, I got off the canvas in the second round. I got caught with a shot, and I said, what the hell are you doing here? And I got up and fought back. And, obviously it was 115 degrees that night. It was hot, and I didn't have...
In Las Vegas.
This is Caesars.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah, Caesars in Las Vegas.
And I got a book coming out in a couple of weeks about gentleman Gerry, a contender in the ring and a champion in recovery, talking about my whole career as a kid, growing up, these fights, and in the pros, and what happens to us. Like, we get knocked down, but we have to learn to get up, dust our pants off, and move on, and take another challenge. Like I was when I was 19 years old, I got invited to the finals of the Olympic trials. And they called me, and I said, I can't make it, my father's sick. I can't make it, my father's sick. And the guy asked me 3 times. And I got off the phone, and what really was, I hated my father. I didn't have the self-esteem, the confidence to deserve to go there. And that's the biggest regret of my life. I wish I went. Even if I lost, I would have had that experience. And that happened to me when I knocked out Kenny Norton that night. When I'm ranked #1 in the world, when it's the most important time of my life, I start to pick up drinking. And I know it was the pressure, the stress, and that was the end of my career that night, looking back on it. But listen, we're having a great time today, and we got it going on in the Garden. We got Colin Smith is in the Garden. Listen, Joshua, you know, he's just that guy. He's not as, you know, like Muhammad Ali, but he's close to. He's a real heavyweight champion. That's what
Never fought here before either.
That's what they're supposed to be. And you know, I was in the Garden, won a fight. He was there, and he walked over. I said, "Hey, Gerry Cooney." He said, "I know who you are." I put his arm around me to take a picture with me. That's what a champion's about. That's what's coming back for us. And another thing about the game that I want to tell you guys about is that all the great trainers passed away. Victor Valley, Eddie Futch. There's so many great guys, they passed away. And so these young kids are coming in and they're teaching a watered down version of boxing. And that's the problem with the game. We're not getting the experience. We're not really learning how to protect ourselves, how to punch short and safe. And that's what's got to come back. And I'm getting involved in the fight game again. I want to start to train some guys, and hopefully I can take a guy like me over the threshold where he can win that championship and appreciate it. Something I couldn't do.
Speaking of protect yourself, you know, Bill fancies himself. We call him Tomato Can.
I tell him keep his hands up.
We call him Tomato Can.
Keep his hands up, bro.
We had Anthony Joshua.
I think you straightened my technique out after this.
Was Joshua in there? Oh, there you go.
We have a reach issue.
Nice.
I think it's a reach issue. Now, as you see, you're trying. I know you were trying to teach him. I'm not sure.
See how short that punch is?
That hurt him right there.
See, I went down.
He did the right thing to go down. But I told him to dive for the corner. Dive for the corner.
I had the towel ready. I had the towel.
Has my technique gotten better at least?
The guy says, you know, that's the story of Richard Pryor. The guy says he gets hit with that shot, starts in Missouri. He was laying on the floor. He says, got one of those people out in the crowd saying, "Get up, get up." He said, "F no, that's how I got here."
My technique getting better?
You're looking good, bro.
All right, brother. For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out Right There. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.